Today in the episode, Russia's energy and defense systems under fire, factories burning, power outages and drone strikes surge. Ukraine's Chernihiv region, resilience in the face of heat, water and electricity shortages. Dutch volunteers Franky and Coen risk it all delivering aid to Ukraine's frontline. Looks like Russia is having a rough week. Factories ablaze, power outages in big cities, and even own missiles meant to stop Ukrainian drones are hitting Russian homes instead. Ukrainian drones keep causing mounting problems. The pressure starts to kick in for Russia's energy and military sectors of economy, which is especially hard for a country that simply has no other sectors of economy. On Tuesday, October 7th, a fire broke out at the Ural turbine plant in the Russian city of Yekaterinburg. The official cause of the fire has not been disclosed. The plant is a significant facility for Russia, as it is producing equipment not only for civilian purposes, such as for thermal power plants, hydroelectric stations, and industrial energy systems, but also for Russian military. This means it is directly connected to supplying power for the production of missiles, drones, and other military-related equipment. The energy turbines manufactured there were used to power such military facilities. On the evening of October 5th, a large-scale power outage was reported in the city of Belgorod and surrounding areas, following a strike on the Luch electrical substation. The strike caused a fire, which led to a blackout in many districts. Residents also experienced water and internet outages. That same evening, October 5th, Russian media reported that a Russian air defense missile crashed into a residential apartment building in Belgorod during an attempt to intercept a drone. Videos published online show the moment during the hunt when the missile hits the upper floors of the building. Still, local authorities claim the damage was caused by falling drone debris, although the footage raises doubts, to put it mildly, in such an explanation. According to open sources alone, since the beginning of August 2025, Ukraine has carried out at least 28 successful strikes on Russian oil refineries. To compare, 21 such strikes were recorded in the first 7 months of the year. These attacks aim to reduce Russia's production capacity in the energy sector, which directly or indirectly supports its war effort. The strikes have had serious consequences for Russia's domestic fuel infrastructure, including a severe decline in processing volumes and disruptions in fuel supply. Bloomberg reports domestic fuel production in Russia has significantly decreased. Meanwhile, exports of crude oil via seaports have increased by nearly the same volume as the lost processing output. This indicates the obvious, a redistribution of energy flows within the country. As refined fuel products become scarce, Russia is becoming more dependent on exporting raw oil. It is also reported about a massive fire in Novosibirsk. A fire has been reported at the premises of the Zavod Priopoy, a company specializing in the manufacture of electronics and microchips, the repair and assembly of electrical equipment, the defense industry, soldering of weapons, communications, and radio electronics components. So, a very important part of the Russian military machine, producing necessary components and materials to solder electronics and other microchips. The Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Syrskyi, stated that in September 2025, Ukrainian unmanned aerial systems struck a staggering number, 66,500 enemy targets, which is almost 11% more than in August. According to Syrskyi, nearly 40,000 of targets were hit by kamikaze drones.
The number of missions carried out by robotic ground systems has nearly doubled, indicating increased attention from commanders to this important component of unmanned systems. The advantage in the use of FPV drones remains on our side, although the enemy is doing everything possible to reach parity. Syrskyi, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, on Telegram.
As well as Syrskyi, the head of the security service Malyuk has also reported to Zelensky. According to him, Ukrainian drone missiles demonstrate efficiency in penetrating Russian air defense system. The president was also informed that hundreds of occupiers are eliminated using drones of the SSU each day.
We note that the Russian troops received an order to storm our positions at any cost. Accordingly, the level of Russian losses has increased significantly. Only our SSU soldiers alone, and only in the Pokrovsk direction, are currently destroying more than 100 occupiers per day, and this is without taking into account the results of the actions of soldiers of other components of our defense and security forces. Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine, on Telegram.
Russian terror in action. The Nizhyn district in Chernihiv region is under terror attack, again, with a new strike hitting an energy facility. Over 4,500 people are forced to survive without power supply for days and nights. There is one terrible thing that Russia has indeed achieved during this almost 4 years of its criminal war of aggression against Ukraine. The Kremlin managed to turn it into a routine, almost casual event for the outer Western world. 3 people die in Ukraine, 10 people die, 20 people die. All these hostilities the Kremlin successfully turned into a new daily norm these days. This is what me and colleagues in Ukraine are fighting as journalists against, that feeling of commonness of Russian terror. We remind every day to our audiences abroad, this is what Russian terror looks like. This is what Ukrainians are standing against every day. Not because they are heroes. They are standing as there are no other options. Really, as simple as that.
Many people, because of the constant shelling, which is happening almost every day now, and drone strikes, are left without electricity, without communication, and some don't even have water. And now, all the children, all the school kids, are studying remotely, and of course, many of them don't even have the ability to join online classes, simply because there's no electricity.
Russian forces also carried out strikes on infrastructure in Chernihiv region, targeting an oil depot in Pryluki and an administrative building in Semenivka. According to the head of the Chernihiv Regional Military Administration, a Russian drone hit an administrative facility. The regional office of the emergency reported that one of its fire department units in the town was also affected by the strike. The roof of the administrative building caught fire, but rescuers quickly extinguished the flames, the SES said in a statement. The personnel were in a shelter during the attack, so no one was injured. Firefighting equipment remained intact. Semenivka community head Syrskyi told Suspilny public broadcaster that the damaged structure was a newly built fire station, constructed after the start of Russia's full-scale invasion. Earlier, Russian forces also struck an energy facility in the Nizhyn district of the Chernihiv region, leaving more than 4,500 consumers without electricity. All we are asking for, do not allow Russia to spread that ill fatigue of what they call Ukrainian war. It is not a Ukrainian war. It is Russian terror. Please remember that someone is doing their best to live it through every day, just like Daria. Delivering humanitarian aid to residents of the frontline areas of the Donetsk region is becoming increasingly difficult. Russian attack drones are hunting for any ground transport. Therefore, foreign volunteers delivering humanitarian aid have turned to military personnel for assistance, in cooperating with them to organize this process by air. Our film crew with Alyona Gramova witnessed the outcome.
Franky and Coen, volunteers from the Netherlands, have been helping residents of Ukraine's frontline areas since the first days of Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine. They have completed hundreds of humanitarian missions delivering food and hygiene products. The foreigners say that just a year ago, it was much easier to personally deliver aid to people.
Many locations we used to be able to reach we can no longer access due to the large number of drones. It's very dangerous. We were looking for a way to continue delivering aid to people by any means, and the military helped us with this.
To organize alternative delivery routes, the volunteers turned to the border guards of the Pomsta Brigade. These soldiers regularly assist people who, for various reasons, remain in frontline settlements.
Yes, sometimes they come asking for water, food, or medicine. Sometimes we deliver to the guys at their positions, and they pass it on to civilians.
For air delivery, food and hygiene products are repacked from boxes into bags to make it easier for the drone to carry the load. In addition to food, the bags contain letters from Dutch residents with words of support for Ukrainians.
And also in the boxes.
There are also messages in the boxes from the Netherlands. They'll be able to read them. They're written with love. It's wonderful.
The servicemen say that gusty winds are no obstacle to sending aid to people. However, there are other risks to successfully completing the mission.
There's always the risk of FPV drones.
They could be hunting.
Yes.
Within a few minutes, the Kazan drone with its payload approaches the positions.
Pencil, this is Izium. Prepare to receive a little gift. 1 minute.
The drone can drop the package on its own, but soldiers are asked to assist and ensure the cargo remains intact.
Torch, torch. Pull the bag, try it. That's it. Up it goes. Return.
This is how provisions are delivered daily to the forward positions of Ukrainian defenders.
It's very advantageous in terms of saving lives. The drone quickly flies through the air, drops the load, and returns. No need to risk vehicles escaping FPV drones or protect personnel.
Having delivered everything needed to both civilians and comrades, the border guards prepare for nighttime operations. At sunset, the Kazan bomber drone will take off to carry out not humanitarian but combat missions, targeting enemy equipment and personnel. Reported by Aliona Hramova, Yevhen Karmazin from Donetsk region, UATV News.
That seems to be it for today. Thank you for standing with Ukraine. Please subscribe to our channel so to stay tuned to what is happening in the world, presented to you by the gaze from Ukrainian perspective. Goodbye.